Hi everyone, I am Dr. Keshab Chandra Mandal. Today I am going to share with you the composition, roles and functions of the Election Commission of India. We the students of political science are very much aware of the composition and functions of the Election Commission of India, but many of the students and people of India are not fully aware about the Election Commission of India and how much power the Commission enjoys as per the Constitution. India is a socialist, sovereign, democratic republic and the largest democracy in the world. If the US democracy is the oldest democracy in the world, India's democracy is the largest democracy in the world. And the modern election system in India has been started since the inception of modern independent India. And the Constitution of India has vested in the Election Commission of India the superintendence, direction and control of the entire process for conduct of elections to Parliament and legislatures, along with the offices of the President and Vice President of India. So, Election Commission of India is a permanent constitutional body. The Election Commission was established in accordance to the Constitution on the 26th January 1950. The Commission celebrates its Golden Jubilee in 2001. Originally, the Commission has only one Chief Election Commissioner, but later on there were two more election commissioners added with the Election Commission of India. So, for the first time, two additional commissioners were appointed on 16th October 1989, but they were for a very small time. Again, in January 1990, later on in October 1993, two additional election commissioners were appointed. The concept of multi-member commission has been in operation since then, with decision making power by majority of vote. Okay. Now, if we say that appointment and tenure of the commissions, the President appoints the election commissioners. Okay. Chief Election Commissioner of India. Again, on the recommendation of the Chief Election Commissioner, the President of India appoints two other election commissioners of India. The election commissioner can be removed from office like the manner and on the grounds as a judge of the Supreme Court. Okay. This is a very vital question, because very recently we have seen that Trinamool Congress Party in West Bengal initiated a move to impeach the existing Chief Election Commissioner of India, Mr. Ganesh Kumar. Now, we will not discuss. In the latter part of the video, we will discuss whether it is feasible or not, and if feasible, how it can be removed. If not feasible, why it is not possible to remove the Chief Election Commissioner of India from his office and during the election period. Okay. Transaction of business. You see, the Commission transacts business by holding regular meetings and also by circulation of papers. All election commissioners have equal say in the decision making of the Commission. The Commission from time to time delegates some executive functions to its offices in the Secretariat. Now, how the Commission was set up, let me tell you a brief history. The Commission has a separate Secretariat at New Delhi. You all know that Nirbachan Sadan is there and it is near Connaught Place, and it consists of 550 officials, almost 550 officials are there in a hierarchical setup in the Nirbachan Sadan or Election Commission of India. 5 or 6 deputy election commissioners and directors. It is not that election commission is comprising of only the Chief Election Commissioner and two other election commissioners. It is not true. There are 6 or 5 deputy election commissioners and director general, who are the senior officers in the secretariat, assist in the commission. They are generally appointed from the national civil service of the country and are selected and appointed by the commission with tenure. Directors, principal secretaries and secretaries, under secretaries and deputy secretaries support the election commissioner. No, not election commissioner, deputy election commissioners and director generals in turn. There is functional and territorial distribution of work to the election commission. The work is normally organized in divisions, branches and sections. Each of the last mentioned units is in charge of the election office. The main functions, divisions are administrations. You see, what are the divisions of election commission? Number 1, administration. Number 2, electoral roll. Number 3, electoral expenditure. Next, expenditure management, information systems, international cooperation, judicial, media, planning, political parties, secretariat, secretariat coordination and systematic voters education and electoral participation. These are the normal divisions of works of the Election Commission of India. The territorial work is distributed among separate units responsible for different zones, into which the 38 constituent states and union territories of India are grouped for convenience of management. At the state level, the election work is supervised, subject to overall supervision, direction and control of the election commissioner by the chief electoral officer of the state, CEO. Manoj Agarwal at present is the chief electoral officer of West Bengal, who is appointed by the commissioner from amongst senior civil servants from a panel of officers proposed by concerned state governments, and he is in most of the states a full-time officer and has a small team of supporting staff. In West Bengal, the chief electoral officer doesn't have a big team as the chief election commissioner of India. So at the district level, DEOs or district election commissioners, officers, electoral registration officers and returning officers are there, who are assisted by a large number of functionaries, perform electoral work. They all perform their functions relating to elections in addition to their responsibilities. During election times, however, they are available to the commission more or less on a full-time basis. The gigantic task force of conducting a country-wide general election consists of more than 12 million polling personnel and civil police officers, to more than 12 million police personnel and polling personnel and civil police forces. You just imagine, more than 12 million forces are polling officers and civil police forces are engaged in this election process. So this huge election machinery is deemed to be on deputation to the election commissioner and is subject to the control, supervision and discipline during the election period, extending over a period of 1.5 to 2 months. Yes, we the teachers are also under the election commissioner when there will be duty of the polling officers in different booths. Okay, you see, budget and expenditure, very interesting how the budgets and expenditure of the election commission is determined. The secretariat of the commission has an independent budget. Imagine, secretariat of the election commission has an independent budget, but it is finalized directly in consultation between the Commission and the Finance Ministry of the Union Government. Later on, generally it is accepts, the Finance Ministry accepts the recommendations of the Election Commissioner. The major expenditure on actual conduct of election is, however, reflected in the budgets of the Ministry of Law and Justice, okay, or the Government of India and the concerned state or union territories. If elections are being held only for the Parliament, the expenditure is borne entirely by the Union Government. Remember, if it is a parliamentary election, then the entire expenditure will be borne by the Parliament or by the Union Government, while for the elections being held only for state legislatures, the expenditure is borne entirely by the concerned state. In case of simultaneous elections to the Parliament and state legislatures, the expenditure is equally shared between the Union Government and state governments, right? So, for capital equipment, the expenditure related to the preparation for electoral rolls and the scheme for electoral identity cards too, the expenditure is shared equally. Executive interference barred, remember, very interesting thing. In the performance of its functions, Election Commission is insulated from executive interference. It is the Commission which decides the election schedules for the conduct of elections, whether general elections or by-elections. Again, it is the Commission which decides the location of the polling stations, assignments of voters to the polling stations, location of counting centers, arrangement to be made and in and around polling stations and counting centers and all allied matters. So, entirely the Election Commission of India decides about the entire election, polling dates, number of polling booths, polling stations, counting centers, everything is decided by the Chief Election Commission of India, or we can say the Election Commissioner of India. Political parties and the Commission, what is the relation and how does it handle? Political parties are registered with the Election Commission under the law. The Commission ensures inner party democracy in their functions by insisting upon them to hold their organizational elections at periodic intervals. Political parties so registered with it are granted recognition as state parties or national parties by the Election Commission of India on the basis of their poll performance and at general elections according to the criteria prescribed by it. The Commission, as a part of its quasi-judicial jurisdiction, also settles disputes between the splinter groups of such recognized parties. Election Commission ensures a level of playing held for the political parties in election frame through strict observance by them and through a model code of conduct advised with the consensus of political parties. It is not that the model code of conduct is imposed solely by the Election Commissioner of India, rather it is decided on the basis of the consensus in discussion with the political parties. Remember, the Commission has an advisory jurisdiction and quasi-judicial functions. Many of our students, many of us people are not aware of it. Under the Constitution, the Commission also has advisory jurisdiction in the matter of post-election disqualification of sitting members of Parliament and state legislatures. The cases of persons found guilty of corruption practices at elections which come before the Supreme Court and High Courts are also referred to the Commission for its opinion on the question as to whether such persons shall be disqualified from contesting elections, and if so, for what period. Ultimately, it is decided by the Election Commission of India. The opinion of the Commission in all cases matters in binding on the President or, as the case may be, the Governor to which such opinion is tendered. The Commission has the power to disqualify a candidate who has failed to lodge an account of his election expenses within the time and the manner prescribed by law. The Commission has also the power for removing or reducing the period of such disqualification, as also other disqualifications under the law. Judicial review. The Election Commissioner of India has the power of judicial review. The elections to the Parliament and state legislatures can be challenged in the High Court and the Supreme Court of India by an election petition. After elections are over, remember, after elections are over, during the election process, no complaint relating to election can be lodged either in the High Court or in the Supreme Court of India. So, it is a very good system has been enshrined in the Constitution of India. So, during the election period and on specific accusations as necessary on other occasions, the representatives of the media are also provided facilities to report on actual conduct of poll, yes, media policy, to whom the Election Commissioner will allow to enter in the booths or to enter in the election campuses or compounds are decided solely by the Election Commissioner of India. And you know, in terms of judicial review, by virtue of Article 329 of the Constitution, once the actual process of elections is started, the judiciary cannot intervene by entertaining petitions on the conduct of the polls. Once the polls are completed and result declared, the Commission cannot review only result on its own, but this can only be reviewed through the process of an election petition, which can be filed before the High Court in respect of elections to the Parliament and state legislatures, in respect of elections for the offices of the President and Vice President. Such petitions can only be filed before the Supreme Court of India. And voter education during or before the elections every year, before every election, the Election Commissioner of India conducts voters education and electoral participation in a multi-intervention program that reaches out to educate citizens about the electoral process in order to increase awareness and participation, because many Indian people are not educated. So, to empower them, to educate them, to increase participation, voters are aware, voters are empowered through education and through training and through different methods adopted from time to time by the Election Commissioner of India. International cooperation, you will be very happy to know that Indian Election Commission is so strong and so powerful that it has many international cooperation. Because India, as the largest participating democracy in the world and with over 75 years of experience of holding effective, transparent and credible elections, playing a leading role and promotes participatory democracy and election administration worldwide. Election Commission of India is a founding member and past chair of the Association of World Elector Bodies, AWEB, a body comprising 119 election management bodies from around the globe as its members, founding members and chair of the Association of Asian Election Authorities. past chair of the Forum of Election Management Bodies of South Asia, members of International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, Stockholm and Commonwealth Electoral Network. ECI has always championed the need for international cooperation among democracies. So, Indian Election Commission is one of the prominent election commissioners in the world, because it is having very vibrant, very effective experience of holding transparent, free and fair elections. And you see, many new initiatives have been taken by the election commissioners of India, like requirement of publishing details of candidates with pending criminal cases. This is actually initiated by the order of the Honorable Supreme Court dated 13th February 2020. It is a very good step, because whether the candidate to whom we are casting our votes is honest or dishonest, has or having court cases pending against them or criminal cases against them, we can come to know, and on the basis of their declaration we can decide to whom shall we cast our vote. Next, optional postal ballot facilitates for absentee voters. Rule 27A of the Conduct of Election Rules 1961 has been amended by notification dated 22nd October 2019 and 19 June 2020. By the said amendment, absentee voters have an option entitled to vote by postal ballot. So, this is another groundbreaking decision taken by the Government of India. Next, optional facility of online data entry of personal details by candidates in nomination form and affidavit. So, in order to move forward in the way of digital India and to minimize scope of mistakes in nomination form and the affidavit form number 26, the Commission has provided an optional facility to the candidates for online data entry of personal details in nomination form. These facilities is available for the candidates through the Election Commission Suvidha portal. The name of the portal I am giving: https://suvidha suvidha.eci.gov.in. Next, the requirement of publishing details of candidates with criminal antecedents contesting elections. Those who have criminal background or criminal antecedents should be intimated to the public or to the voters. Next, eco-friendly elections. The Commission has also asking all the potential parties and instructed to take adequate steps and measures not to use single-use plastic as campaign materials like posters, banners, etc. during the elections in the interest of human health and environment. Next, number 6, 4 qualifying dates for enrollment in the electoral roll. Those who will be completed 18 years of age, maybe in the month of, very good system has been introduced, maybe in the month of 1st January, 1st April, 1st July and 1st October. The voters can file his claim for enrollment in any quarter of the year. Free time on DD and All India Radio for political parties to propagate their policies. Commission notified a scheme for use of government-owned electronic media by political parties on 16th January 1998, which also holds a statutory basis under section 39A of the People's Representation Act, Representation of Peoples Act 1951, which provides free time on DD and All India Radio. Recently, the Commission has amended the existing scheme by the broadcasting a provision for issue digital time vouchers through an information technology platform. With these facilities, the political parties will not be required to send their representatives to the election commissioner or chief election commissioner's office for collection at the time of elections for collecting vouchers physically. So, this is election commissioner, its setup, its power, its functions, everything I have mentioned in this video. In the next video, I will discuss about the role and functions of the election commissioner, which has been enshrined in the Constitution of India. Okay, with this I would like to conclude here. Thank you very much.